Well, if you've ever been shopping for groceries, you know that you can usually save a little if you buy more than one of something. But what about when you're shopping for a flight? A new report from the Thrifty Traveler found that airlines have been quietly charging solo flyers more than those who book two or more tickets, at least on some flights. Jessica Hart can take it from there.
Kent, the editor of that travel website, has been studying airline trends for years, and he didn't even know about this. So if you're shocked to hear it, you wouldn't be the only one. An airport is a melting pot of people. People who pay hundreds of dollars for a ticket that might cost more if you're flying alone.
There are a lot of people who will end up paying the bill for this, not just business travelers.
Kyle Potter is the editor of Thrifty Traveler and has studied airline trends for 7 years.
I would call it a new low. It's not really shocking, though. This is what the airline industry does.
Wednesday, Potter searched a flight to New York for one, but realized he needed a second ticket for his wife.
Went back and searched for two passengers so we could book together, and kind of did a double, triple take and was like, what went wrong here? You know, that price for that flight departing at, 8 a.m. is not what I just saw. What has changed?
Potter says he started digging and discovered Delta, United, and American were charging higher fares on select flights for solo passengers versus people flying in groups of two.
As much as 30-50% higher if you're booking for just one passenger per ticket instead of two, but in some cases, it's literally double the price.
For example, a United flight from Chicago to Asheville in August cost $259 in economy for one. The same route for two cost $217 per ticket. A Delta flight leaving from Minneapolis to Miami Thursday night cost $375 in Delta, Maine for one. The same route for two cost $200 per ticket.
This is a change. It's a pretty monumental one, and to me, it's a pretty troubling change in terms of penalizing people who are flying on their own, whether they're flying for business or for something else.
Potter doesn't know when airlines started this or why, but he believes they're targeting business travelers.
They are less price sensitive because ultimately their employer is footing the bill, and therefore they're willing to pay a higher price.
A price not everyone can afford, but it could be the new price to fly.
The airline industry is full of copycats. Nothing stays unique for very long.
Potter says it's the everyday people who are going to be paying the bill on that. And I reached out to Delta, United, and American about higher fares for solo travelers, and I've only heard back from Delta. A spokesperson tells me this airfare structure isn't new and it's an industry norm. They couldn't get into pricing specifics, so that means they couldn't tell me why prices vary and why it only applies to some routes.
All right, wait a minute here, because we just heard Kyle say that this represents a change of some sort, at least from what he's been able to glean. So what does he have to say about that response?
Yeah, Kent, he says it depends on how you define the term structure. He says there's always been airfare structure, but he and his team, they search thousands of fares every single day. So he says that this has been going on for years. They would have noticed this a lot sooner. He says it's possible maybe it's been done on a smaller scale and it's expanded recently and they just picked up on it just now.
All right, thanks a lot.